What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
And today on The Great Debaters, getting into one of those underground classics that people don't talk about but really should, the Odd Squad. All right, Amir, so we're back here on The Great Debaters. Excited to talk about the Odd Squad. But before we do, please, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It's right down there and it's free. That really helps our cause here at Unique Access Entertainment as we're on our way to get to the #1 spot in the game. Now, Amir, the Odd Squad, great group out of Houston. Many hilarious moments on this album. But how did you first get introduced to the Odd Squad?
Man, I don't remember how I first got introduced. I just, Rap A Lot Records, we've done some of their catalog in the past, especially Ghetto Boys and Scarface. Soren will link one up. And
the Convicts. We'll do that link.
Oh, we did Convicts too? Yeah.
Convicts. Shout out to the Convicts.
Shout out to the Convicts, man.
Big Mike.
3-2. So pretty much what I was trying to say is Rap A Lot is one of those labels that at a certain point you hear a bit of the stuff that came out of that record label, and you can just close your eyes and grab a Rap A Lot album off the shelf. It doesn't matter, because more than likely it's going to be good. You develop that trust of the label, and that's what happened with me. So I heard about this album somehow, and I really like Devin the Dude. I especially like a lot of his features. I probably first heard him on 2001. I heard him on Scarface's stuff. I heard him on other things as well. I heard him on, I know What a Job is his song, but, I heard that, with Snoop and Andre, before I heard this album. So I heard Devin the Dude was affiliated with this album. I didn't know that he was in the group Odd Squad. Right. So that was one of the things, Devin the Dude, Rap A Lot, let's get into it. And then I eventually found out that Scarface said this is, if not the best, one of the best albums from Rap A Lot Records, or his favorite, right? So I respect Scarface a ton. He's one of my favorite rappers of all time, my top 5. So I'm like, all right, Scarface saying it's the best. Let's get this sooner than later. Picked it up, and man, I love this cover. Awesome cover right here. I'm forgetting what it's referencing. I know someone in the comments is smarter than me, so y'all can drop it in there. But I love this cover because it's just people having a good time, man. People having a good time, and then one thing, you see the guy slumped over here.
Yeah, too good of a time.
He's having too good of a time. He got this bottle that says Coffee Bros, so kind of foreshadowing, Devin the Dude had a group called the Coffee Brothers later. So anyways, so I thought that's cool. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into one of my picks, and this is going to be the second track here, The Squad. So we've talked about this a little bit in the past. I like when, especially when it comes to new groups, when you kind of give an intro. You give an intro to who you are, who's in your group, things like that. So everyone has a verse. You got a dope beat. And that's another thing. You have production on this album from N.O. Joe, Mike Dean, people who you always see on the Rap A Lot roster when it comes to albums, especially in this era. Then you get production from Rob Quest and the members. So you get additional production. A lot of this production is very jazzy throughout the album. Mm-hmm. And jazz is just I know one of the titles, Jazz Rendition, for example. So I really like the beat on this song. I think it's fire. I like how they're introducing everyone. It's called The Squad, so it's this is who the squad is, and everyone has a verse. And if I recall off memory, Devin the Dude is the last verse on the song. So I was like, where's Devin? I want to know Devin. I want to see Devin, because that was one of the main reasons why I got the album. Then I'm like, oh shit, you got Jugmug on here, you got Rob Quest. So I'm like, okay, this is cool too. And then we got Devin at the end. I'm like, that's Devin's voice, you know what I mean? So you hear how young he is, and you hear the other members, and you hear the different kind of production they're rapping over. So The Squad was a cool introduction to the album after the first track. So that's my first pick.
The Squad is not one of my picks, but I really enjoyed it, and it's interesting. I want to wait to see what your other 2 picks are before I make some of the comments I want to apply to The Squad, but we'll see how it goes. But not one of my picks. My picks, I'll do mine in a little bit different order than usual, but my first pick of the 3 is Your Pussies Like Dope. And I remember that one, it's now a theme the last couple episodes toward the end of the album, and which is, it's always a pleasant surprise when you get toward the end of the album and you're still hearing these phenomenal songs.
Yeah.
And your stuff's like dope. I just thought was so good because it has, unlike most of the album, a very darker, heavier beat, and that kind of threw me off. And then the subject matter is like they're looking at it from a addict's perspective in a sense, and it's just very much of a looking at things sexually from a different way, or at least a way that shows their lack of ability to control themselves for what they're craving. And I just thought that that was an interesting way to sonically present it, and then story-wise, the different raps they have on the song. I just thought they did a good job with that, and I thought it also really was striking how the song fits into the rest of the Odd Squad album. So that's my pick. You have anything on that one you want to add before we go to your second pick?
No, it's a good song. It's not in my top 3, but that one was, I think, probably in my top 5.
Okay.
So good track. And I'll get into my second track right here, which is Smoking That Weed. And obviously, you'd expect some weed songs to be on this album.
But with Devin involved? Never.
So I love the sample on this, man. I really do. I'd first heard it when Cool G Rap used the same sample. It was either on Talk Like Sex or FU Man or both. And then you have Jay-Z doing it on his Reasonable Doubt album. So to hear them, the Odd Squad, to rap, and it's about smoking that weed, it's just very different subject matter from the G Rap and the Jay-Z song. So that was cool. I really like the sample. I really enjoy the chorus as well. It's like very fun, laid back. Really, really, really fun mood, even though I don't smoke, And like I said in the past, this is just one of those songs where you hear, I'd heard it first with the G-Rap, I heard it first with the Jay-Z, but to hear other people put their take on it and for it to also be a dope song is very cool, because, you hear something for so long, I heard those songs, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever times, and then it's like, damn, like, I wonder how this guy would rap over it, I wonder how KRS-One will rap over it, I wonder how E40 will rap over it. It's like, Devin the Dude, Rob Quest, it's like very different people, and it's still dope. So that's one thing that I really like.
And using it before some of them too.
Well, he used it before Jay-Z.
Yeah.
So, and there's other people who sample it too. I'm just naming a couple people. So I thought that was cool, and definitely just a really, really dope song that puts me in some type of mood. It's one of my favorites from the album.
It's also one of my picks. I just think the vibe of the song is so
Great
good
vibe.
and so smooth and comforting. And I imagine I don't smoke either, but for the people that do, I imagine that if you're in the indica world especially, that would be good for you as a relaxing vibe out type of song. But I just think that it just works so well, and it also fits in well with who Devin is, kind of the vibe of the album, a little bit carefree, laid back, relaxed. A lot of it, although not all. And that's going to lead us into the third pick because, especially for Amir, I'm interested to see what you think because there's some points I want to make, but continue.
So for my third pick then, it's going to be another weed song, and that's going to be Coffee. So Coffee, I remember when I first heard the term and I saw him spelling it on his albums, the way he spells it, which for those who may not know, it's Coughee, so not Coffee. He's talking about weed, and he talks about it all in the song. Anyways, so Coffee is awesome, and I love the beat once again, and there's so many damn weed songs and weed lyrics on here that I'm not remembering if it's on Smoking That Weed or Coffee, but in one of the songs he says, I got 5 on it. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty cool because this album came out in 1994 which I got 5 on it, was on the Loonies 1995 album, Operation Stackola.
Yep.
So did the single come out before this album? I highly doubt that. So this is the first time I had ever heard anyone reference.
No is the answer.
No is the answer. Well, there you go, Soren the historian. So to hear that, I don't know how common of a phrase that was. Like, I don't know, but this is the first time I heard someone actually say it on the microphone. Me. Someone in the comments let us know if it's before. But I haven't heard it. So I thought that was really cool. The lyrics are awesome. For him to... I also like when you see things, like you see coffee here, but then you also see it on the cover, so you kind of connect like little dots. I really like that as well. One thing that I also find very interesting here is you see on the cover, you see a bunch of dudes having a good time, and then you see women also having a good time, but the women are bigger. And the reason why I bring that up is because you have that, but then on like an album from Devin the Dude called The Dude, he has that song Show 'Em with KB on the feature, and KB's bringing home the bigger women, and Devin's like, I don't want that, they're too big. And it's like, but then you see this, and these are bigger women, so it's like, you find like these interesting things and these stories that come up later in the career, and then you see the things in the beginning of the career, and some things like are more for stories, for shock value, for whatever, and like just good covers. So it's very interesting to kind of just gather all this information and see where it stays the same or where it differentiates. So I find that very interesting, maybe odd if you want to stay on point with the pun, but good song, Coffee. That's my last pick.
Coffee's not my pick. My third pick is For Show. And this song is my favorite song on the album. I just thought it was not only hilarious, but rather poignant. And also looking at, as I do enjoy, taking a theme that could be done in a more direct, crass, whatever type of way. The chorus in particular just is so hilarious to me, and how they break it down of how you could lose your girl or your normal girl by trying to go get all these other girls. And the verses, have this self-deprecating humor that we get, and we see a lot like with the Far Side, Devin the Dude. That's a hallmark of his career, and that's not too prominent in rap, but I'd say that For Show is a great example of that, because it's like, oh man, I was trying to, get my hand in the cookie jar and other things in the cookie jar a little too often, or with different cookie jars. And it's just interesting to see how they portrayed their missteps and their misfortune by being greedy and, not being faithful to their woman. And I just thought it was amazingly done and hilarious at the same time. So For Show is my favorite song on this Odd Squad album, and I think it really then, to me, is a combination of all these great things that we see prominently throughout Devin's career as a solo artist and his guest feature work that he's done over the years as well. It's just kind of self-deprecating blues, somber but funny, yet a weed head, yet comical, yet he's in all these weird adventures and capers and stories. And I think that's just what makes Devin great and what makes this Odd Squad album great. Amir, what do you have anything to add on For Show?
Yes, I'm shocked it's your favorite song. I'm a little shocked.
It's my favorite.
I'm shocked. I would have I don't know. I like it. I do. I want to point out that the Came to Get Down, that one, I mean, you see so many people. It's so funny, like, when an album doesn't really have features, and then you have one song with 20 features on it. And, that's interesting, and Rap-A-Lot had done this as well. If you see some of their albums, they have some tracks that have 5+ features on it, so that's also cool. So interesting, but no, good album, hilarious cover, just good stuff, man. And this is one that I feel like may have slipped through the cracks. So people, if y'all fan of the channel and just you've heard most of the albums we talk about, haven't heard this one, we suggest that you listen to it and check it out.
Another thing about it too with the squad, and Here to Say a Little Something, which is another one of my favorites.
That's my number 4.
That one, talk about MC, or DJ Snotty Nose and MC Don't Know What to Say. The thing about a lot of the songs on the Odd Squad album is that they have a very, to me, what I would say, Native Tongues, Tribe Called Quest, Souls of Mischief, hieroglyphic-y feel, production-wise, and even lyrically, and the way they rap, which I think is not only very distinctive for a Houston group, but also for a Rap-A-Lot group. It's very uncharacteristic of what Rap-A-Lot was doing in 93, 94, but also ever. And I think production-wise, too, I'd say half of the album kind of has that type of vibe, and half of the album has the, smoking that weed for show, Pussies like dope, just very different vibe. And it's almost like they're two different albums kind of woven together, which I think sonically is very intriguing and very unusual, but also lyrically, it's a lot of boasting and bragging on some of the songs and just like hip hop, rock the mic type of stuff. And then it's this other Devin the Dude warped storytelling stuff that we get that dominates a lot of his catalog. So just an interesting balance. And I always kind of wonder about, was that intentional, or was that just like, oh man, we're just going to make a bunch of cool songs? Or was it more as they were working, Devin was evolving into a different type of artist? All interesting questions that hopefully when and if I get Devin the Dude on Unique Access, we'll find out. But thankfully, I've interviewed him many times. He's shouted me out on one of his albums. So Devin is the man, one of the great unheralded artists, I think, in rap history. Anyway, I digress. So there's our top 3 picks. Definitely hit us up in the comment section. Let us know what you think, as always, and we appreciate your support. Definitely please subscribe to the channel, like the content, and let us know what you're thinking here on Unique Access Entertainment. I'm Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
Great debaters, y'all, and shout out to the Odd Squad.